What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Garrett here from the Smoking With podcast, and today I have a really cool video for you guys. So we have been recently partnered with Chilled LED grow lights, and they were so gracious to send me over some of their X6 600 watt DIY LED kits, and today that's what I'm going to be doing, is unboxing that and putting it together in front of you guys, so that way you can see kind of the little bit of a process I went through, and the tent setup from a very cheap company over on Amazon, Zazzy. We're going to be building their grow tent, in which I'm going to be running these grow lights in. It's going to be a 4x8 tent, and 2 of these X6 600 watt LED bars are going to be filling that tent. So let's get into it. I'm unboxing this and opening it here, and this has, so the X6 has 4 bars that comes with it. They have a couple different options, the X5 and the X4, and those all have varying 4 bars to 5 bars to 6 bars. This one has 6. They're very well put together bars. They put together this kit here, and as I'm unboxing this ballast here, you could tell that it's really packed nice and tight, so that way if you're shipping it or as they're shipping it, it's not getting too jostled around. As you can see, I kind of struggle with it here because they really package this thing nice, so that way it doesn't damage it. Boasting an incredible 1270 U-moles per joule in the middle here at 6 inches from canopy. At 12, we're looking at around 1092 average there. In the center here, we're going to be at 12 to 1400 ppfd. So this is actually a really well-rounded light for a typical home grower. We don't really need to push beyond that unless we're going to be running some heavy CO2. As I'm unboxing this thing, it has pretty much a full spectrum light, like I was running the Nanolux F110s here, and this is going to be around the same output. It's got a pretty cool blue to red spectrum, pretty wide variety, full spectrum light. Again, boasting from that 12 to 1400 ppfd towards the middle of the lamp, and it's meant to cover about a 4 foot by 4 foot canopy. And like I said, I'm going to be running a 4x8, so I'm going to be having 2 of these in my tent to really maximize the output here. So they have these really nice cool rails, and they have their logo here, the Chill LED, nice and proper for you guys. So at this point, I have pretty much everything unpackaged out of the plastic. They come all pre-packaged in plastic, just in case anything happens or they get scratched or damaged, it hits the plastic. Unless you have something really crazy gouge into it, but you know, these are boxed so well that I don't expect that to happen. These are reasonably priced as well. So for this one specifically with the 6 bars, it runs right at about $1,000, $999 with free shipping. Right now they have a sale going on, actually, that they're $100 off, as well as you can get with code SMOKE another 5% off that. Now they gifted me 2 of these to run for our Growing With competition kind of thing that we're doing here on the Smoking With channel. And basically, so these guys are up in Arlington here in Washington, and I really just wanted to, I'm glad they reached out and connected with us, because we've always wanted to work with like very local businesses and all that. So really cool that these guys contacted us and wanted to work with us, and I'm really excited to see what these things can do. So now we're gonna put this thing together. We're gonna figure this out. I'd never built one of these before, and so I was kind of daunted going into it. And these instructions here, the pictures on them weren't very clear. And oh, be careful here with this sidebar here. This is where all your electronic components are going to be wired into, and you wire them yourself. It is pretty long and bendy, so you want to be careful not to break that, because that's where everything's going to go. So as I'm opening this up, I'm realizing that that's not all the packaging. So we gotta take that out and take the plastic off that too. Be careful with it though, it is a board. It might be a little flimsy, jumpy, so you wanna be careful with this not to break it. So as I'm unboxing this, you can kind of see that you can see a little bit of picture here. You will need some tools to start with this thing, and you're gonna need some wire clippers and a stripper because you are going to be wiring these to this nice long green computer chip, I guess. And it can be quite difficult, or not difficult, but challenging here. And truthfully, the instructions here, the pictures aren't the greatest. So there are online guides. So all of the instructions and build instructions are online with very clear pictures. Just this printout that they had prepackaged in here, it was kind of hard to see exactly what they wanted. And the literature and the lingo that they use on these can be kind of confusing for somebody who's never done this before. And also the screws don't have, it's not like IKEA where they have A, B, and C and use these. They actually use the actual screw type and name. So that can be kind of confusing or daunting for somebody who's not familiar with these types of screws and such like that. And they'll use certain lingo like, let's say, PCB covers and 48V DC LED power cable. Of course, there's pictures provided on here, but I would encourage you guys to go online and look at these pictures because they're much, much clearer and you'll have a better idea of what you're getting into. So as I'm building these bars out, each of these bars has 2 screws that kind of go into the bar to keep them nice and secure. I would recommend, I was gifted 2 of these, so I would recommend the second time I did it on a table, and it was much, much easier. You just have a little more eyesight room and wiggle room on either side of the bar to really screw these in. I had a little bit of trouble on the floor with these initially because I just couldn't get the right angle to look at the screw and make sure it was going into the right slot. So highly recommend building these on a table. So you can see I'm really looking at these instructions, really trying to figure out what screws I'm supposed to be using because again, it's not IKEA. They didn't label these 100% and all of these screws aren't labeled by any means. So when they tell you to use a specific type of screw and you maybe don't know what kind of screw that is, it may be kind of a guessing game. So I would encourage this company here, and I will reach out to them to maybe be a little more specific or label their screws in numbers or letters and use that because it's just a little more basic for somebody like me who's kind of a dummy or a stoner. But again, it would be nice for somebody who's maybe not so inclined. So as I'm putting these together and doing the wiring, I did notice here that the strip, it was a little confusing again because I didn't have the proper pictures and what I was looking at. I didn't know that these were online at the time, but now I do, so I'm forewarning you guys. I stripped it out and the wire broke off as I'm tugging, making sure it's all safe. But yeah, I got it all together. I managed to get that little piece out. It took a little bit of finagling, but had to be very, very careful with it. But I got it all wired up and really nice, fairly easy to put together. It did take a little bit of time. It took about, I think, 45 minutes to an hour to put this entire thing together. It only took about 30 minutes for the second one because I knew a little bit more of what I was doing. You can see here that I'm covering up all the wiring that's kind of exposed with these nice little cover clips that they use. They're also branded with the chill LED, so they look really nice, and it really just kind of ties this all together so you don't have any exposed wires or anything like that. But yeah, it really like just puts it all together. And that's it, man. I kind of put it all together, and this is the final product. Really nice labeling here on the side of their Growcraft Chill LED logo. These were all the screws I had left over after I was done building it, which was kind of concerning for me, and it might be for new users. They might think they did something wrong, so they forgot a screw somewhere. So maybe a little bit overkill on the extra pieces, or I just did it wrong. I don't know, but there's a ton of extra screws here. I didn't have as many on the second one, so I'm not really sure if they parsed those out evenly or what went on there, but I did have quite a bit of screws left over, and it kind of concerned me there for a second. So here I am setting up the Zazzy branded 4x8 grow tent, and I did have quite a bit of trouble with this thing. Setting this big of a tent up by myself, especially coming straight out of the box, and it being so many folds, and how stiff all the fabric was. It was actually, for the price, was quite durable material, not quite AC Infinity for the price. It was around $120 or something like that. It was pretty good material. I'm pretty happy with it. I hope it lasts me a few years to come. I finally get that first wall up, and I took my hat off because I was getting all sweaty under there. I have my air conditioner running and everything. I'm setting this tent up, and I do kind of struggle here for a second coming up to get this top cover over the second wall, which is going to be my entrance wall where I can pop in, check on the plants and all that. Trying to stretch that top cover over, I really had to use the zipper to my advantage to really suck those things together. But overall, this was a fairly easy setup, pretty straightforward. It was like a page of instructions. Of course, setting up a tent isn't the most complicated thing in the world, unless you lose a part like I did there for a second. I showed the camera, I couldn't figure it out. It was under the tent. Again, here you can see I'll struggle here for a second trying to get this lip over. I had to get inside here. This is the last corner that I had to do, and I'm sitting there struggling with it, sweating, and I didn't think it was the right size there for a second, but yeah, I finally get that all stretched over. Again, like I said, I'd use the zipper to my advantage and really pull that through. Here's the whole shebang. Again, for 120 bucks for a 4x8 tent, I really would consider going for a better tent and a higher quality tent. Out with the old Nanolux, in with the new chill LED Growcraft X6. Two of these bad boys, again, going to be covering this whole tent. Oh, look at how beautiful those are. Beautiful full spectrum lights, nice reds, nice whites. I only have the one put up right now because, again, I was so drained from putting that first one together. But the next day I come in and build the next one. Fairly easy, again, about 30 minutes or so to put that together. Again, let me just go over some specs with this Growcraft X6. So as I'm putting this next one up, boasting about 2.8 UMols per joule, which is insane. That is like top of the line style for most LED boards, and total PPFD is going to be sitting around 1647 UMols, and of course that's going to be, I believe, at the 6-inch mark, so a little close to the plant, but again, you're hopefully not running 1600 UMols at the top of your plant. You can run into a lot of issues that way. So the price per watt, we're sitting at $1.67, which is, again, higher, a little bit higher on the price point there, but you're paying for quality. And then a 61 cents per UMol, and that is going to be very comparable to something like Photon Tech, right around the same price per UMol and price per watt as their light. So here we're looking at I set it up and I turned it completely all the way up and closed the tent and had one fan in there. No through fan, no exhaust fan, nothing. I just put it in there and turned it all the way up. And this is, again, with just one fan in there, and both these light at max power about 3 hours later. And here we are sitting at 84 degrees. Again, a little bit high, I won't deny that. But again, if I get some air exchange in here, we're gonna be sitting really nice and cool. And of course, once we get some plants in there, get some transpiration going, we'll be a little bit cooler there as well. So I really like these lights, and I'm really excited to do our first grow in here. I'm gonna be using the hydro bucket here, and gonna crank some dank under these things, man. I'm really excited to see what these things can do, because you know, I've been hearing a lot about them, and you know, we'll see. But until next time, guys, thanks for checking this video out.